Hi guys, okay, this is November 30th, so it's our last day of Planvember. It won't necessarily be my last video, my last live video. I'm going to try to keep doing these because I think you guys benefited from them and I benefited from them as well, and I like this forum of us being able to share. So I'm going to go ahead and get my links shared out, and then hi Alice, and then we'll get started because today's video I'm going through all of my planning pages and kind of how I use them. And I think that's something that especially people who are new to this type of planning are really looking forward to seeing. So it's going to be a good video. Hi everybody. Hi Alicia, Mindy, Amy. Everybody's here. Happy Thursday. Let me go ahead and get the link shared out to everybody. And we'll go ahead and get started. How's everybody doing today? I ended up staying up way too late last night watching Netflix. And I'm kind of paying for it this morning. But it was good. I kind of needed it, I think, just to relax a little bit. You know how that goes. Like I can't, if I'm working late, I can't just turn it off and go to bed. You know, I need a few minutes to kind of unwind, and yeah, I just need some time to clear my brain before I go to bed. I don't like going to bed with work on the brain. It's not good for me. So, what do I watch? I'm trying to think. What do I watch on Netflix? I watch a lot of things on Netflix lately. So, and not just Netflix, I should say, because my husband and I watch Longmire. And then on HBO, we watch Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David. Oh my gosh, he's so funny. He just cracks me up. Okay, let me see if I'm almost done, guys. I'm sorry this takes a little while. I'm sharing a couple extra places today just because it's the last day, and I feel like then if people are still needing help setting up their journals for the coming year, then they can go back and catch up on the whole series. So, okay. All right. I think that's pretty much it. I had one or two things that I usually drop up in the notes for you guys, and I'll do that right now in my notes here. This part always takes forever. I'm sorry. Okay. All right, I think we're good. So, hi CJ. No, it won't be the last video though. It's just the last day of Planvember, and then we might just segue into a different kind of schedule, because I just won't be able to keep doing them every day. But we'll have something like this again. So, Amy's saying she's so torn if she should watch the live or just keep catching up via YouTube. Yeah, you know, it's up to you. It's up to you. You guys can always pop in and out if you need to as well. I know how that goes. You can't always stay for everything. So, okay. So this is probably, I've gotten a couple of emails about the topic we're talking about today. So, Elizabeth, I just found out about December Daily. So, I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do it. I need to make a decision today though, don't I? So I'm not sure yet. I'm going to see. I just found out about it. One of my contributors, Alice, posted about it. Did you read her contributor post? Because she's doing December Daily. And so I found out about it from her. And now I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do it. But anyhow, so today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to show you in my current journal kind of how I use my weeklies and monthlies together. And then I'll show you how I'm setting them up in the new journal. I'm going to kind of switch a couple of things around. So I'll draw my January pages with you. And then I'll kind of show you how I'm planning out how those pages are all going to work together. So, yeah, this is probably the thing that confuses people the most when they first start planning in a notebook, because if you're used to a paper planner, which a lot of people are, those dates are all written out for you. And when you transition to a journal, you have to yeah, it's a little bit more on the fly. So there's a little bit of a learning curve that goes with it, but I'll show you it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be hard. And you don't always have to feel like, I don't have a place to put things. Don't worry. It can be really simple and customizable, and it doesn't have to be stressful. And I think this has actually relieved a lot of stress from my life, just transitioning to this type of planning where I can take notes. And yeah, so okay, let's get started. I'm gonna pull you guys around here. I'm hoping this won't be too long of a video, so I kind of want to just dive right in. But all right, if you guys are new to the series, you may not have heard me talk yet about the retreat that's happening this weekend, which is the Journaling Sisters virtual retreat. And I'm taking this virtual retreat. I feel like I need it. It's a self-care journaling virtual retreat by Shuen Butler, and she has a background in counseling. And when she and I connected, I really wanted to take this course, and then we ended up working out a discount for my readers, which was really exciting. So I'm gonna go ahead and share it in the comments here for you guys if you're interested in taking that course. If not, if you can't do it this time, she also has a mailing list, and you can find out about it in the future. But she's capping this one at 30 people. So it's going to be a real small, intimate environment. And I was thinking, well, how fun would it be if I had, if I got to meet some of you guys in there and take this course with you? I felt like that would be a really fun thing. So especially leading into the holidays, you know, I think we all could use some self-care. I know I can. I get too busy this time of year, and I end up not taking care of myself. So I'm excited for this. I think I deserve it, and I need it. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you guys will join me with that. But I just dropped the link down there if you're interested. And if you can't make it this time, sign up for her mailing list, and you'll find out about ones she does in the future. Okay, so just to catch you guys up, if you're new to the series, what we're doing is we're moving out of my Rodea goal book here. And I've really loved it, and I probably will use this brand again. Rodea is one of my favorite brands in general, just because I like the Clairefontaine paper that they use. And the Goal Book was one of their more recent new journal releases that they've created. And it's pre-numbered, and it's got an index and some scheduling pages already built into it. So it's pretty much preloaded for planning, bullet journaling, DIY planning, anything that you're going to use it for. If you're creating a DIY planner or more of a memory book, it's all set up for that. So that's what I'm moving out of. So I've already created my December pages, and this is my December page. I still need to migrate some things over today and get some things kind of formalized. And then I have my 6-word story challenge, which is a challenge I run on Instagram. And so I'm all set up for that. And then I always have a brainstorming page at the beginning of the month, which is, I think a lot of people call theirs brain dump. And this isn't just a place for me to dump ideas into. I also use it as a way to generate ideas. And so it's sort of just a free note-taking page where I don't have to be structured, and I can come in here and be messy and crazy and just let my mind go wild. So, and then from there, I'll go into weekly scheduling, which I still need to make my weekly for next week. And the reason this is cut in half is that I do kind of a vertical Dutch door, if you will, for my week. So it looks like this. I'll show you in my current week as I put my schedule here, and then I can do my dailies. They kind of flow around. So then I have 2 full pages for dailies, and I still have my schedule that's really accessible. I know what's going on this week, and I can keep a running list of tasks or other notes on the back side of my schedule. And then that just kind of helps me keep everything contained in, here's my week. And I've really enjoyed using this format and adding this. I used to do it on an adjacent page. Let's see if I can show you how I used to do it. I used to do it like this, and I would just do my schedule here, and then I would let my dailies kind of flow into the journal and bleed onto the next page, just kind of overflow. But I ended up deciding that maybe that wasn't the way I wanted to do it. So this is giving me a little bit more room, and I'm really enjoying it. So that's why my December page is already kind of cut in half. And then I already created, I made this during a live video with you guys. We kind of made this fun Christmas inspired page with some holiday books and movies and all of our favorite things. And my first December weekly is going to go before that. So I kind of counted pages ahead of time, which I don't always recommend, but I did it because I needed to do a demonstration for you guys, and I didn't want to mess up the order of my journal. So, but in general, I don't recommend working ahead in your journal. I think it creates problems later on. So anyhow, but that's my current December. So how that would normally work is that at the end of the month, I would create this page. I would migrate anything from November. So this is my November. So I would come in here and see, are there any big projects or big tasks that I didn't address during the month that need to be moved over? And then I'll just flip through the month. I don't know what happened here. I guess November must have been a crazy month because I never came back. I ended up leaving pages for my 6-word stories, and then I never ended up using them. So anyway, I don't know what happened there. Guys, it was a crazy, and then this was a printable that I created for you guys. It was a goal, like a end of year goal review, and I actually need to finish this because I have one more month for the year, and I need to do a 2017 review of my goals, and then finish this up and kind of marry it with my goals for 2018. So I'll be working on that this month and actually getting it filled in. But I created it early last month because I wanted to put it as a printable in the vault for you. So then I'll just flip through the month. These are my meal plans that I do. They're kind of crazy. Don't worry too much about those. And I just go through and make sure that I haven't missed any tasks that need to be migrated. And I should maybe let you guys know this too, is sometimes I don't have a daily for every day. And I know that that would drive a lot of people nuts. But if my task list hasn't changed that much from the day before, I just continue using the old one. I don't write everything all over again. I'll just keep working on this one. And if this is my Thursday one, but tomorrow's Friday, if I still have unaccomplished tasks here, I won't necessarily create a whole new Friday unless Friday is going to have new tasks. Then I'll add a Friday daily, add all my Friday tasks, and then continue to work on both days at once. Does that make sense? But I think when I first started, I would always create a daily, whether I needed to or not. And I would always migrate bullets over from the day prior. But I feel like that ended up being a little bit redundant. So now I sort of use it as a little bit more of like a continuous note taker and DIY planner. It strays very far from, if I'm being honest, my current system strays very far from anything that people might call a bullet journal. So, but anyway, it doesn't resemble the system anymore, to be perfectly honest. But this is how I'm doing things. Okay, so I hope that kind of catches you up on what I do in my current journal. So let's get started in the January journal. We'll do a quick flip through for anybody who might be new. So this is the journal I'll be moving into in 2018, the beginning of January. And I still need to fill in my index and my key. We did create a little bit of an edge index system yesterday with a color code. And we already put stickers on some of the pages to mark them as to what category they're in. So, Elizabeth wants to know how I use the December monthly format. Okay, I'll talk about it. Just let me get through the flip through, and then I'll go back to the December, and we'll talk about exactly how every line works, because the format may look a little crazy if you're not me. If your brain works normally and not like mine, it won't make any sense to you, but it'll make more sense when I explain it. So, okay, so my word for 2018 is gratitude. So I kind of created this fun doodle page, and it's a coloring page in the vault. I've got my 2018 calendar at a glance, my year at a glance calendar. I've got birthdays and holidays here, so I'm planning on putting all my family's birthdays inside the wheel, and then any holidays and important dates outside the wheel. So, like hashtag holidays, National Umbrella Day, and things like that are just kind of fun, I'll put out here and probably color code them accordingly. I've got my yearly planning pages. These are just long-term planning. I don't need a lot of space for that type of planning. I just need a spot each day that I can kind of throw something in there if I have a dated appointment. And so I have that for the whole year. And then as I get to the end of 2018, I need a place to put things for 2019, and I plan very far in advance. So I have this little area just to catch any of the 2019 things that start coming up, and I need a place to put them. So this is just like an overflow page. I have monthly recurring tasks here. And this is it's just a grid. There's nothing fancy about it. I just have months up here, tasks over here that need to be done on a monthly basis. And if it does not need to get done that month, then I just black out those boxes. So this line right here is for quarterly taxes, which obviously I don't pay taxes every single month. I only pay them at certain times throughout the year that the IRS tells me I'm supposed to. And that's when I pay my quarterly taxes. If you have an employer, if you're like employed and somebody pays you a paycheck, you don't have to worry about quarterly taxes. That's for people who own small businesses or are self-employed and they're responsible for paying their taxes to the IRS throughout the year. So don't worry about that if that's not you. I don't want to stress anybody out. They're like, oh my God, I was supposed to be paying taxes this whole time. No, you're probably fine, unless you own a business or you're self-employed. Okay. So this is my planning routine. I formalize my planning routine just because it helps keep me on track and it keeps me honest of whether or not I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So these are preset planning times to do certain things, and then I have a little checklist that helps me when it's time to migrate. So this will be for next year. I have a checklist in an old journal that I actually refer back to when it's time to migrate in a new journal. So I'll have to look at that today to make sure I've finished up all of my cleanup and weeding out old tasks to get to December 1st, which is tomorrow. So today I have some planning to do tonight for sure. I've got my 2018 dashboard here with a little bit of a quote and coloring page just to kind of inspire me as we move into the new year. And it's by C.S. Lewis, and it says, "There are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind." These are both also printables in the vault. I think a lot of these pages are. Most of them are. There are very few exceptions. So if you went and skimmed through the Page Flutter Vault, which is password protected, and if you're a subscriber, you've already gotten your password and you know how that all works. If not, then you can subscribe and you'll get an email with a password and a little freebie in it. So, okay. Then I have my goal pages, which I still need to formalize before the end of December. I need to go through and make sure my goals are set, and I've written them out here. I'm probably only going to write 2 goals, personal and professional, but I made 3 spots because this also became a printable for you guys. And so one of these spots may be open for me, but you may end up deciding you want 3 goals, personal and professional. And then this area down here is just kind of more of a less definable goals. It's just, these are things that I want to work on, but they maybe aren't very measurable. So I assign a 1 through 5 scale, and I can kind of give myself a grade at the beginning of the year of where I am, and then I can grade myself again at the end of the year and see if I've improved in those areas. So just because something isn't measurable doesn't mean that it's not valuable. And so sometimes when I go to those pages that are all about goal setting and productivity, and they always say that a goal should be measurable, I get it, I understand, I agree. However, sometimes in life there are things we want to change that are not measurable. And so we have to find a way to incorporate those into our goal setting. And this is just my technique for doing that. It works well for me. It gives me a way to try to be objective about something that's highly subjective. So that's just how that works for me. You may not find value in this. I find tremendous value in it. This is a big project planning page, so it just gives me a big look at things that are happening throughout the year, and I can quickly see if I have too many big projects scheduled during the same month. And it also lets me know if I've allotted enough time to accomplish my goals before the end of the year. So it's just one more goal setting technique. I created this page as a place that I'm going to put my books that I'd like to read this year. And I'm kind of compiling and working from some old lists. So they're going to all end up on these pages. And I created this as a blank too. I didn't want to put any of my titles on here because I wanted to put it in the vault for you guys so you could put your own books on there. Everybody has different reading tastes, and I would never try to impose mine on you. You guys would be like, enough with the Harry Potter, Megan. Seriously. How many times are you going to read those books? But anyway, so this is where I want to put my January monthly pages. So that's basically, that ends my long-term planning pages that get me into 2018, that sort of set the stage for how things are going to go. From here on out, this journal is basically going to be everyday planning. It's going to be my normal pages, my weeklies, my monthlies, and then collections just as I need them. Or note-taking. If I go to a conference, then I use my notebook as a note-taker. Or if I'm learning something, I use it as a note-taker. If I'm out and about and I hear something, I'll use it as a note-taker. I really use my notebook for everything. It's just a catch-all. So, or I can put memory pages in here, whatever I need. When the need arises, when the impulse strikes me, I can make it whatever I want. So, so we're going to work on a January monthly page. But first, I know you guys had questions about how the December page was going to work. And some of this will be comparing and contrasting the way I'm recreating my page with the December page. So here's how it works. Let me hold this up so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I've got my header here. This is my little typewriter font, which I'm probably overly fond of, and I use it a lot. But I also get asked about it a lot, and I think you guys would like to see how to do these. I actually got requests yesterday. People were like, more typewriter font. So we'll do some more of that today. So I basically I've made a list of numbers here, 1 through 31. So that's one for every day of December. And then in gray next to it, I've added the day of the week. That just helps. For me, it's a nice visual to have the days of the week right here. I could flip back to my, at a glance up here. I could flip back to that to see what day it is, but this just saves me some flipping. If I'm at the dentist and I need to know what day that is, it's just easier to schedule this way. So then I have it separated into columns here to kind of break up the day. So these are things that are happening all day, things for the blog, morning, afternoon. So this would be the first, which is a Friday. And so if I read across that line, I would be able to see everything that's happening for me that day. Maybe Friday all day is a day off school for my kids. I have a post that's supposed to be going live tomorrow. I know that just because it's still on my planning pages from November, and I need to get it scheduled because it's supposed to go live tomorrow. And it's a contributor post from Tori at Fox and Hazel. If you want to check her out, she's awesome. She does a lot of art journaling, and she's doing this really great post tomorrow about how to do like a watercolor wash in your bullet journal. So she sort of is combining art journaling and planning into this really cool new thing, and I love it. It's great. Then I've got morning and afternoon appointments here. So that just helps me kind of keep track of where all of my appointments are for the day. And I have these red lines here which separate out the weeks, so I can see a new week at a glance. It helps keep me honest. So then tonight I actually need to look again at my November goals and come up with my top 3 goals for December. They're not really goals per se. They're just like my top 3 things that I want to accomplish. So they're sort of goals, sort of tasks, but I just come up with a big 3, like I really need to get our passport applications sent in. I really need to move to a new web host for my hosting. I kind of want to move to a new one. So I don't have any problems with my one I'm using right now. I think it's time. I think I've outgrown it. Maybe I need to move to a bigger one. But anyway, so just things like that. Those are big projects that really I need to buckle down and get them done. Then I have other over here, which are just like other things that if I don't necessarily have a place to schedule them, I want to throw them in here because they need to get done at some point, but they aren't necessarily dated or they don't necessarily have a deadline yet, but they still need to get done. So I might just throw them down there. And then I usually have a little quote that I put on my monthly pages just for fun to keep me inspired. And this one it's December and I celebrate Christmas. So this is a Christmas quote from A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. And it says, "I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year." So that's it. That's my December scheduling page. Now the way I would use this with my weeklies is I would each week look back at this and double check any appointments that I have scheduled and do an assessment on where I am on my top 3 and try to schedule those in with my weeklies. Same thing with the other tasks. Then I would look at those. For me, sometimes it helps if I just grab these tasks and put them in a day. And I say, this one, I want to get it done. I'll go to my weekly and I'll put it on my schedule here and I'll say, I really want to get that one done by Wednesday. And if I just write it down, that is half the battle for me. If I've written it down, then I've committed myself to getting that done. So, and that does seem to help quite a bit. So that's how that works with my weeklies. And then obviously the weekly for me is a half weekly. I really just do my schedule just to give me an idea of what's going on. And then I go through just my dailies and sort of, jot them out really quickly. So hopefully that helps give you guys an idea. The dailies for me are very important. The weeklies are less important. I really just need a quick glance of what's happening. And then I use my monthly calendar pages for just scheduling out tasks for the most part. This is where I would say the majority of my scheduling happens, but then the majority of my actual task management happens in my dailies, if that makes sense. I hope it does. Okay, so let's get started on a January page. And I'm actually gonna, instead of closing this, why don't I leave this up here and I'll show you guys kind of what I'm adjusting as we move from December to January. And I'm just trying something new. Let me see if I have something that'll hold this up. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that. You probably cannot. Okay, well, we'll do the best we can. How's that? All right, so that might give you a little bit of a view of it anyway. So I'm still gonna stick with kind of this linear formatting. Some people like to actually draw out a calendar, and that works really well if visually that's what you're accustomed to. I have grown accustomed to this linear style, so it works really well for me. But with a calendar, it's nice because your days are already lined up, and in a notebook like this, you can customize your start day on your calendar. So if you are from North America, you probably are accustomed to a Sunday start on your calendars. If you are from almost anywhere else in the world, you are probably accustomed to a Monday start on your calendars. So you can customize that and change it and try new things, and that's kind of nice. But I like having a little bit more space to write, and I like being able to see my days across this way, so that's why I'm doing it in this linear way. Oh, hi, Natalie. Thank you so much. I'm glad you found me. I'm glad to have you here. So let's get started here. I've got I'm going to be using my 05 Tombow Mono Drawing Pen. And actually, I say that, and I'm second guessing that. I think I want to use a color. So what should we use for January? I usually pick two colors, just like I did in December here. I picked red and this kind of baby blue for December. It made me think of winter and Christmas, so I picked those two colors. So moving into January, we can pick some new colors. What do you guys think? Let's do, that's like a baby pink. Let's do, any ideas? I'm gonna see if you guys, purple, blue, blue. Okay, let's do purple and blue. Let's do those two. You guys were quick draw on those colors. You were ready. You were ready for me to ask, weren't you? All right, we'll do purple. Let's do purple for my outlines, then we'll do blue for, so I still want to use this kind of linear formatting, but I would like to move, I think I want to move my headers to this side of the page over here, and that way when I'm flipping through the journal, I'll see the title of the month really quickly on the edge. So I think I'm going to do that. And I was going to show you guys a trick for this typewriter font. Let me see if I printed some out so I could show you guys this trick, and I don't know what I did with them. Hang on just a sec. I might have cleaned up too thoroughly before I started this video. No, I didn't. Well, maybe I did. Maybe I put them away in here. Goodness gracious. I thought I had everything organized, and now I have lost my little trick I was going to show you guys. Nope, they're here. They slid under my computer. All right, we're good. So this is what I was going to show you guys. If you are wanting to try this typewriter style and you aren't sure where to start, go to your computer and open up Word or, you know, Pages, whatever word processing program you have, and make a really big printout in something like American Typewriter is a common font that a lot of people have. Courier is another one that might work. So you just look for something that looks like a little typewriter font. I think this one is American Typewriter. I'm not sure. And you can just print the word out, print it out pretty big and bold. And then you can use this as a stencil almost. You can trace it from underneath your journal. Depending on how thick your journal pages are, that should work. So this one in the Rhodia paper is not very translucent, so it's very difficult to do that. So I will see how it looks in my Scribbles That Matter, but you should be able to see it just enough through the paper that it'll guide you in creating your typewriter font. Now I've been doing this lettering style for a while, so I've grown accustomed to how the letters look on the page, and I know the spacing that I need to use. But over time, you'll learn that. But if you are wanting to try this style, or any lettering style for that matter, you can use these as guides until your hands kind of build that muscle memory of knowing where the letters are kind of supposed to go. So you can trace this, and that'll become your, that'll give you an outline, and then you can go back in and fill them in. Another thing that you can do, and I think I've shown you guys this trick before, is use graphite paper. So if your paper is too thick to trace it through the page, then you can put a piece of graphite paper dark side down onto the page, and then put this over it, and then go over your printable here with a pencil, and it'll give you an outline on the paper. And that's just a little, it's just a little bit of a trick. If you have your heart set on a given lettering style, then that's kind of a neat way that you can add fun lettering if you are new to it and maybe doubtful of your artistic skills, as most of us are doubtful. I'm doubtful. I think we're all doubtful, right? But anyway, it's a fun way though if you just want to have some fun with lettering. So I'm just going to go ahead and trace mine through the page, and I'll show you how I do that. Ordinarily, I would either just freehand this or maybe jot it out in pencil lightly just for the spacing. But again, that's because I know this lettering style. I've done it a lot. So yeah, you'll get there over time if you're new to it. It, like anything, it's hard at first, and then over time you just get better at it. Everything is hard at first. Okay, here we go. So I think it's a little bit, I think that's pretty good for the spacing. I have something in mind here, which is why I'm sort of, I've got it offset, but I have something in mind for this space over here. I kind of did a little bit of a little light pencil sketch before I started this video, because I wanted to see if my new format was going to work, and I think it is. If it's a format I'm familiar with, then I just dive right in with pen. I don't even worry about it. If I make a mistake, I just roll with the mistakes. So, all right. So I'm just going to come in here and trace my font here that I like. So if you prefer something that's more scripted, like it's more of a script style, then you can print something like that, or you can print a hand lettered style, or anything you're wanting to try. Basically, you could add a picture. I think I made this reminder once before, but I will just point out, if you are going to trace something that is copyrighted, make sure you're only using it in your private journal for your own use, and that you don't accidentally turn around and sell it or misrepresent it as your own. That's one of those things that nowadays with the internet, we just forget. We forget what we're doing. And anyway, so just be cognizant of that. If you're going to trace something that's copyrighted, just be aware. Okay. So then I'll go back in, like I've got kind of some shaky lines here, and I'll just go back in and kind of clean them up and try to make this a little bit thicker. And I'll show you, if you really want something nice and rounded, you can use a thicker tip. Like this one is a Tombow dual brush pen. I've had this pen forever, and it just never dries out. It's amazing. So it's got a big, thick brush tip on one end. Don't use that end, not for this type of lettering. You want something a little bit cleaner. So on the other side, they have more of like a medium-sized marker tip, and that's what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to go over this, and you're going to see it's going to give it a more rounded, bolder appearance. So, and you could definitely go in with a pen like this and just go over it a few times to get a thicker line. But this is just a shortcut if you just want to use a thicker marker. And especially if you feel like your handwriting is shaky or your drawing is shaky, sometimes a thicker pen can help you because the surface area on the tip is greater. So it gives you more stability. that kind of comes together pretty quickly when you use a thick pen like this. These Tombow markers are really dark too. Like they're much darker than an ordinary, like if you picked up a magic marker that was black, I feel like these are somehow much darker. Okay. All right. That's pretty fun. So I think if I were doing this alone by myself without you guys watching, I might actually go back through again and make it just a little bit thicker. But I think I'll probably just stop right now because you guys get the idea. And I might come back in and touch it up later when we're not trying to get other things done. So then I'm also going to, I think I'd like to create a little bit of a division here. So let me count up my lines for how everything's going to work on here. Make sure I've got all my dates, and then I'll have a better idea of how big I need to make my box to hold the dates. Does that make sense? Amy's saying no smears. I know, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to number from the bottom up, because then I don't have to worry about starting too low and counting wrong, and then I run out of, you know, space for all my dates. So I'm going to start down here. And there are 31 days in January, correct? We can flip back to our little year at a glance here and double check, but there are 31 days in January, so we'll start at 31. Actually, this pen's a little bit thick for numbering, so I'm going to switch to a 3. Okay, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. About that. You guys still there? Good. Okay. I forgot again to turn on my do not disturb, but I know I do need to talk to her today, so I'll have to call her right back when we're done. All right, so the first day of January, let's check again. What does January start on? January starts on a Monday, so we'll start here, and I'm using a gray, actually, I don't want to use gray for this. I want to use our pretty purple, right? Yeah, let's use purple. I think purple's a little easier to see, so let's use this purple. All right, we'll do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Just so you guys know, I use an R for Thursday. I don't know why, but it's a habit I got into. Just go with it. Just go with it. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I even went through, like, I speak Spanish and French, and so I went through, I'm like, is Thursday an R in a language that I speak? Like, where did I get that? I really don't know where it came from, but I guess, I mean, I don't get confused with Tuesday. I don't know. I don't know why I do it that way, guys. The mysteries of my mind and how it works, right? Okay. And so I decided to do something. This is what I'm changing up this time. The reason that these numbers are kind of in a strange place. So this year, when I was doing my monthlies, and you can switch your monthlies up mid-year, by the way. I don't mean to say, like, I have to pick this way and I have to do it throughout the whole year. No, no, no. You can adapt these as you go. Each month you can try something new if you want. But for most of the year, I stuck more or less with this format. But I had all day and blog kind of stuck together. And now I've decided that that doesn't make a lot of sense, because things that are happening all day typically don't derail my whole day, if that makes sense. So every now and then they will, but you know, I want those kind of at a side. So I'm putting my all day things on this side of my number line, and then scheduling events are happening on this side of the number line. So see, Dawn uses an R for Thursday too. Where did we get this from? Why an R? Like, what were we thinking? It's so funny, but I don't think we're the only people who do that, but I wish I knew where it comes from. So Yvonne is asking about the, what size of the Tombow is the finer tip. Are you talking about the colored ones, Yvonne? If you're talking about the colored ones, I'm using the thick side of the Tombow Twin Tones. They have a fine side and a thick side, and I'm using the thicker one. So, okay, so Jen says she uses the R too. Okay, at least I know that I'm not crazy, that I didn't just make this up. This is a thing, so that's good. Oh, okay, buddy, you got it. Oh no, my little guy. No, sweetie, you can do it. No, you can do it. I'm trying to get him to be more independent because he's my little guy, you know, he's my youngest, so he tends to play the baby card a little bit. So, all right, give me just a sec, guys. I'm sorry. I swear, soon he's going to be in preschool and we won't get interrupted. Yes. Okay, I delayed just long enough. He handled it himself. That's awesome. Yes, I love it. Okay, so I'm going to extend this all the way out, this line right here. You know, for the longest time, I delayed doing videos because I was like, no, I have a little one still at home and he'll be all over the place and people will hear him. And then someone was like, well, is it a secret that you're a mom? I was like, well, no, I guess not. They're like, then just do the videos. So I'm just doing the videos. You guys don't mind. You guys are always really nice about my little one too. Like, very supportive, and I appreciate that. I feel like anybody who's been there, like if you've been a mom, you get it. You know how it is. Like, it's just, this is just how it goes. Okay, so I have a plan here for these little boxes that I'm making. Okay, so that's basically where my scheduling is going to go. And I want to create one more here, I think, because January is month number 1. So I'm going to do this. I like the way that looks. And then up here, I think I'll do a fun little January doodle, like probably a snowflake. January's cold where I live, so, I mean, not really cold where I live. I live in Oklahoma right now, and let's face it, it doesn't get cold enough for me here. But I do live in North America, and we tend to think that January is cold here. So whether it actually gets cold or not, we think it is. So, all right, these are going to be my all-day appointments over on this side. Okay, and I'm not actually going to number again because this box is already right next to these dates. So I can just look at the dates from over here. And when I draw my week lines, I'll draw them all the way across. But this way I've given it just a little bit of a separation of my all-day events versus my actual scheduling events, if that makes sense. So, okay, let's come back in with some purple. And we're going to use purple again to separate our weeks out. So I end my weeks, I do it kind of weird. On these pages, I use a Monday start. So on my year at a glance calendars, I use a Sunday start because when it comes to a traditional calendar view, I'm just used to seeing Sunday at the beginning of the week. So use whatever way makes sense for you. You know, I understand why people are like, but the weekends are supposed to end the week. Like, yep, I understand. I know that's more logical, but this is just what I'm used to. I know that you're right. I know that makes more sense, but I can't let it go. are still good. Oh, okay. So Mary Lou asked, what is the name of your larger ruler, or where do you find it? Hers is metal and only 6 inches. Mary Lou, I got it on Amazon, and I have a link here I can give to you. Let me find it. Of course, the one link that I didn't have ready for you guys. We went through this yesterday too. I'm sorry. Westcott 12-inch ruler. And I talked a little bit yesterday about what I do and don't like about it. But it's still kind of the only one I've been able to find of its kind. I just haven't found a good replacement. So here, let me get this for you. And there it is. I just dropped it in the comments. So you should see it, Mary Lou. That's the 12-incher. I also have the 6-incher. This one, the 12-incher is called a B70. The 6-incher is called a B50, and they're formatted the same way. This one is made in inches. So if you are metric, I apologize for giving you a tool that does you no good. But they work well for me, for these purposes anyway. So B70 is the 12-inch, B50 is the 6-inch. And this is small enough that it'll fit in the back pocket of a notebook. But I meant to have that out for you guys yesterday and I did not. So there's that. Okay, so now we're going to do, let's do big 3 over here. So I'm changing just a little bit the way I do my my big 3 projects, my big 3 goals. So you guys remember last, so like in December here, I have a box over here that I've been putting them in. And here I've decided I'm actually going to put them at the very top of the page, give them top billing, and make them more obvious. And I'm going to do my 1, 2, 3s in purple because I feel like we need just a little bit more purple on this page. So these will be my top 3 goals for the month, and I'll just jot them out there. And then over here I can put my quote. I still want to have a little quote for the month. I like having that. And it just, you know, makes me happy. Let's give this guy a little bit of a stitched look. This little banner here. All right, and then I'm going to come back in with, this is my 05 again, my 5 Tombow. It's got a nice thick line to it. Big 3. Do you guys watch This Is Us? That's what that makes me think of. Big 3. Like they have their 3 little babies, you know? Sorry. Side note on the TV that I watch. Okay. I'm going to leave this area open for notes. Little guy giggling in there. He might be getting in trouble. It's all right. What he's supposed to do, I guess. Let's give this some stitches too so that it matches the one above it. And sometimes when you try a new format, it doesn't work out and you kind of have to turn the page and start over. Last year, I started this new weekly and I thought I was being so smart. I was going to have everything in columns and I was going to have everything, you know, planned out, and it was going to work great and it was going to revolutionize my life. And by Monday afternoon, I had abandoned it. I was like, this is not working. I can't do this. This isn't going to work. And I just turned the page and started over. So anytime you try something new, it might be amazing or it might be not so great. And you just kind of go with it and try new things. day. Got AM here. And we've got PM. And then over here, I'll put my page flutter blogging tasks. Okay, here's that. Let's use our blue to separate these columns just so that it's more obvious. I don't really need to draw one here because the theme of the page is doing that for me. But I will draw one here to separate my page flutter tasks from my afternoon tasks. And that's usually just a way for me to know if I have a post scheduled for that day. Yeah, that's usually how that works. So we're pretty much almost done here. I just need to pick a quote for January. So let's go look up a fun quote, or if you guys have one, you can drop it in the comments for me and we'll get that started. How about something? How about start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. You guys like that? Let's see if my comments are still scrolling. Oops. Yep, we're good. Okay. Here we go. I think I'll probably do this one in cursive. So, start by doing what's necessary. Then do what's possible. And suddenly you are doing the impossible. There you go. So that's our quote. And I will put who it's from on the side here. I'm going to turn it sideways and write it because I kind of ran out of room. And this is from, let's see, St. Francis of Assisi, is that right? Let me double check because I'm not sure. This website formatted it kind of funny. And I like checking sources just to make sure. Yes, that is St. Francis of Assisi, okay? Okay, so that's a good one. And if we wanted, we could also go in here and kind of outline this quote in purple. That might be kind of pretty. Let's do it. Let's do it, since we're talking about it. Okay. There we go. All right, so then I can come back and create my top 3 items for the month. I've got a spot where I can put anything that's happening all day. I've got an area for notes. This can be my running task list, just like I have right here. This can be that. And I've kind of moved my big 3 up in place of my header, and I've moved my header to the side of the page. So actually, let me move this up just a little bit for you guys. I think I worked my way down on the desk, and now you can't see very well. Okay, so there. Is that better? Right, you guys still here? Michelle says it looks like a sewing ruler. It does kind of, doesn't it? Oh, good, Veronica. I'm glad this is helping you. Hi, Catherine. Glad you made it. Oh, CJ, I'm so jealous. I miss Fort Collins so much. You know what I miss the most? And Colorado people get it. I miss Bojo's Pizza. I miss like the microbrews that are on every corner. And I miss bike lanes. Nobody else has bike lanes. Amy says, I'm moving to Japan. Yes, I am, guys. I'm moving to Japan in the summer. That's the plan anyway. I hope nothing derails the plan. I still can't get, I've got so many comments here I gotta get through. Okay. Oh, okay. Charlotte says, yeah, Charlotte, if you're not sure what we're doing, we're basically using a journal as a planner and a catch-all, memory keeper, sketchbook. That's what we're doing. So I'm setting it up, and I'm not setting it up for all 12 months of the year. I'm just setting up January to get me primed for when after the new year hits, then I can move right into my new journal. So that's what we're doing. And I also want to talk about a couple techniques before I let you guys go today. So we've made our monthly page that I promised you, and you've kind of seen how I use it. So now as January starts, I can move into this will end up becoming more than likely my 6-word story. The 6-word story challenge is changing a little bit this year. It's still going to be around, but it's going to change just a little bit this year. And so, but I'll have my 6-word story challenge prompts there for the month. I'll have my brainstorming area, and then I'll move into weeklies. So this page will probably be the first page that I cut in half to make my weekly, if that makes sense. So that's how that will work. And then from there, I mix my monthlies in with the journal. So when I run out of pages for a month, then I make the next monthly, you know, or when the time comes up, just like I did last year. That's how I like to do them, because I use those monthly pages as a break in the journal to separate time frames, and it kind of helps me keep it organized. However, here's a technique, and since we're still a month out from January, you have time to do this. A lot of people, that makes them very uncomfortable to not have a monthly page, and they would rather have a whole stack of monthlies at the beginning of the year than a future planning page like this, an annual planning, because then they're moving things, right? You have to move your appointments from your annual planning to your monthly, right? So every month you would do that. At the end of the month, like the end of December, I'll sit down, I'll review this, I'll review my birthday and holiday calendar, and I'll go through my whole little journal checklist, which is this one, and make sure that I've hit every page that I intended to hit that's going to need to be moved and compiled onto my monthly page. So that's my process. It helps me think to be continuously going through this and cleaning things out. And that repetition is actually a huge part of my productivity. And I know people will say, what a waste of time, you know, to do that, because you have to draw it all out and you're going back 3 and 4 times. That's true, but I learned through repetition. So for me, I solidify things in my mind better through repetition. And that makes me more productive because I can think clearer. So productivity isn't always about cutting time out. Sometimes it can be about making you more effective. And this makes me more effective. However, for some people, that process would just be too repetitive and it wouldn't work for them. So one thing that you could do is create 12 monthlies at the very beginning of your journal. Create a January, a February, a March, an April, and you have them stacked then at the beginning of your notebook. So all of your scheduling for the months are done. And then you basically just have collections and dailies, or weeklies if you need a weekly. But most people who would use that type of a stacked system probably aren't thinking that way with a weekly. I shouldn't make that kind of generalization because that may not be true. But in my mind, when I picture the person that wants, you know, monthlies stacked at the beginning of the journal and then they just want the rest for note taking and dailies, then that's a really effective way to kind of get the best of both worlds of, just like an agenda and a notebook that you can take everywhere with you. So that's an option if this whole planning on the fly makes you really nervous. You could stack monthlies at the beginning of your notebook. The downside to that is that then as you're moving through the notebook, you have to flip back to get to your monthly page quite a bit. But in all honesty, I flip back in mine. I'll flip back in mine as I'm scheduling, like I'm doing here my daily, and I have to flip back to my November page, right? But so it doesn't really make that big of a difference. You're just flipping to a different part of the journal. And you could also use something like a magnetic bookmark, which I had one here, and then I probably took it off so that we could do our journaling. But you could use a paper clip. I have a paper clip in this one. If you don't want to bend your pages with a paper clip, you can use a magnetic bookmark, which looks like, okay, I'm gonna push you guys over just a bit, and I'll try to find one, because I usually have a whole stack of them. Here they are. All right. You guys good? All right. So then you can use these little magnetic bookmarks, and they open up like this, and you can stick them on the page. So you could mark your current month at the beginning of the journal with a magnetic bookmark, and then you could come back to that really easily. And you'd have all of your monthlies for the year stacked together. So that's an option. And I feel like I wanted to mention that because I know that there are a lot of people who are new to this watching, and that's one technique that I think when I first started using this, I might have considered that as an alternative, because at first it took a lot to get used to this type of planning. But now that I'm used to it, it's almost second nature. So I hope that helps. That's it for creating a monthly. And then as we move on with this series, I'm going to keep this series going. It won't be Planvember after this, but we will meet from time to time and discuss different options and different techniques, and I can come up with some different themes, like favorite hacks and things like that. And we can do these on a regular basis. So watch my blog, because I will, once I've been able to formalize a schedule for that, for coming back and doing these lives on a regular basis, I'll have the schedule posted on the blog for you. And then you guys can hop into the lives whenever we're doing them. If you want to know about these lives in the future, make sure that you like and follow my page and turn on your notifications so that you'll get them. So then every time I'm live, whether it's expected, scheduled, unexpected, you'll get that little notification and you can jump in and see us. Don't worry, Natalie, they're not going to be over. It's just that our Planvember series of doing them every day is going to come to a close. So Mary asks, what do I use the page flutter column for? So Mary, the name of my blog, if you are new to the series, the name of my blog is Page Flutter. So pageflutter.com. And it deals with a lot of this, journaling, writing, paper planning, stationery, handwriting, all these things that make my heart go aflutter. So Page Flutter is the name of my blog. So usually I'll use that for, if I have a newsletter coming out, then I'll put my newsletter there. If I have a blog post that needs to go live, I'll put that there. If I have a giveaway that's going to be starting, then I'll schedule it just so that I have an idea of what's happening in my life professionally, and then any other scheduling things that I have going on. So this is mostly for things that are going to have to go live on the blog. That's usually what I use it for. So let's say that I have a conference or an appointment, or I have a video chat with somebody that I'm trying to set up a collaboration with. I would probably put those in the timed AM, PM columns. Even though they deal with the website, I would probably put them here because they're timed. They have a deadline. If it's just something that's supposed to go live on the blog that day, then I would put it in this column. So this is more for planning content and keeping my schedule organized. I hope that answers that question for you. Let's see what else we've got. I've got more questions here to answer. I'm having a hard time getting my screen to... hi, Mom. My mom is here, guys. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you as well. Oh yeah, Mary asked, can I show a page from a past month so they can see what it looked like when it's populated with appointments? Yes. So I know December is not full yet, so let me find you a good one. Okay. This was my October one, and I was still using kind of an older format. So you guys can see I had my columns in a different place, but the principle is still very similar. So you'll be able to see kind of how it works. I've got my, this is my blog column here. So I've got posts that I've made are in pink. Those are posts that I was supposed to make. And then I have contributors who write for me every now and then. And I've got them scheduled in here in blue. So I've got Elizabeth here. She's over at Jihi Elephant, Jihi Elephant. So if you Google Jihi Elephant, you would find her. That's Elizabeth. And then Alice is at the Geeky Burrow. And she's really awesome too. They're both great. I have really, really good contributors, and I feel really blessed to have them because they help me keep the content diverse, and it's not always just my voice that's on there. You guys get a different perspective every now and then, which I really love. So, and then I've got my all-day things happening here. So I've got Columbus Day and no school. So those are the types of things I would put in the all-day column. In my AM here, I've got Lola had to go to the vet appointment, had a vet appointment. Lola is my boxer. I had a training at the gym at 9:30. I've got written in there that I'm doing cardio and core, if you guys care. I don't know why I wrote it in there and I didn't write it in on the rest of them. I might have had it in my phone at that point. Every now and then I have to use my phone for backup because things that affect my husband, I try to put digitally because he's a digital planner. Drives me nuts. It's twice the work for me, but then we can kind of share our schedules a little bit more. We sort of do a little bit of a mashup, I guess. I've got, doctor's appointments, parent-teacher conferences in the afternoon here. I've got, at 1 p.m. I actually I have a giveaway here in the blog column, and then I have a giveaway here at 1 p.m. because I had a giveaway that had to go live at 1 p.m. because I was working with other bloggers, and if it didn't go live at exactly 1 p.m. it would kind of mess up the flow. So I had that, I reminded myself in both columns that had to happen. So that's one thing there. So that's really how it would look. And this page doesn't really get that cluttered because I end up moving things to weekly pages that look like this, and then I can get more detailed with little things that have to happen, soccer practice and things that happen on a regular basis. Then I can put all those in there, and then I have my running task lists of things that have to happen. I assign myself a focus for the day. I've sort of changed the way these look a little bit, but the function is still the same. So if you looked at my current one for this week, or maybe last week might be a better example because this week was kind of weird. So last week's probably a better example. But see, I still was doing like this vertical Dutch door for my schedule, and then I still have my like scheduling days on the side, and I tried to assign myself a focus. My focus this day was posting, so I needed to create some posts. My focus this day was to journal. I had some things I needed to catch up on in my journal, and I really wanted to focus on the actual, doing of the journal. And then other days I might have a focus that's admin, or like this day I had, so it's different format, but same concept. I changed my header just a little bit that week. And this is what I mean, where you can just change things on the fly if you want to try something new. My focus was blog, format, and admin. So I had some things I needed to move around on the blog. And so I wanted to go in and focus on getting those things done. They're not glamorous parts of blogging, but they're really important when somebody comes to the site if they can find things under the category that they're supposed to be in. So that's what I was doing. I was doing some cleanup. This day, my focus was posts. This day, my focus was book and posts. So I needed to touch base with my book publicist that day and talk to her about kind of our game plan for promoting the book, which a lot of you guys already know about the book, but if you don't, you can check out my website, pageflutter.com, and there is a link in the upper corner to the book that I just wrote called Beyond Bullets. And it's kind of a celebration of this whole paper planning and journaling revolution that's happening with travel journaling, art journaling, planning, just there's so much happening right now in the journaling world, and it's really exciting. I think people are really embracing that analog. It's been like this whole analog grassroots movement, right? So then that's basically how it looks. I think that gives you a good idea. And I have these little Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday buttons that I make, and a running task list on the back of other things that I thought of and didn't necessarily have a place to put them yet. But maybe at the beginning of the week, I just kind of did like a dump of, all these things that have to get done this week, if that makes sense. Let's see. Rhonda says, as in when creating or writing pages. Let's see. Does your distro create a crease in future pages? I haven't noticed, Rhonda, that it does. Like when I'm writing on it, if this creates a crease. But again, I'm working on Rhodia paper. So it's actually very, why all the sad faces? Did something happen? What just happened? Did I miss something, guys? I don't know what just happened. Okay, so no, I have not noticed if there's like a crease or when I'm writing. I haven't had any problems, but this is Rhodia paper and it's very thick and it's very nice. So, but I don't do that. It's not like it's on every page either. It's only occasionally throughout the notebook. So hopefully that helps. So, and then the Scribbles That Matter paper in this notebook is actually pretty thick too. So I haven't had any problems with that. But, oh, Amy's saying sad because it's the last day. I guess so. I was like, what did I miss? I see you sad faces, angry faces. Like, what did I miss? Did something just erupt? Did I miss something? What happened? Like, somebody tell me what I said. Okay, but we're good. Okay, I think that's it. So, I am trying to figure out a way to create these as printables for you guys without imposing too much of my format on you. I'm going to give that some thought, and I'm going to think about how I might be able to do that for you. What I may end up doing is creating just kind of a dated list for you with a monthly header and give you one of those for each month, and then you can find your own quotes. You can decide what you'll use these side spaces for if you want to use those differently. I may end up doing something like that to try to get you a printable that you can use for monthly scheduling. Monthlies are actually very easy to make though, depending on the format that you use, and you may want to do something completely different. There are so many ways that you could do this. This is a DIY planner. You can customize and create every single page and do it how you like it, and you're doing it with your hands, so it's very, there's no like software or interface that you have to learn how to use. It's just very intuitive, which I really like. I forgot to come back and do my little doodle, but I might think about what I want to put there. I'm going to give that some thought. I'm happy with the way this looks right now. I think it's really clean. I can read it. There's not too much distraction, but at the same time, the color gives it a little bit of a visual intrigue. Okay, Jessica says yes, please. She wants the printables. So, all right. Well, I'm going to give that some thought and see how I can make that happen for you guys before January hits, because I know that if you're going to use them, you may want to use them for the whole year, or you may want to do that stacked monthly thing that I was telling you about. So, Amy's like, I'm so over the pre-printed planner world. I love it. I like printed things for a lot of different applications. I like that on Etsy now there are all these digital download shops that you can go on and pick the format that you like and kind of piece together your own planner. I think that's pretty cool, but I don't have the energy to do it. And for me, it's just easier and maybe a little bit more fun and touchy-feely to go in and write out my pages by myself. It's kind of therapeutic and I enjoy it. And it gives me an excuse to buy cool, colorful pens, which I love oh so much. So that's it. I've kind of taken to this style of planning, and I take a lot of notes, and I like being able to have something that's completely open. And if I want to write something down that's just, random poetry or quotes or some really cool conversation that I overheard that I'm like, wow, that would make a really good book conversation. Not that I'm eavesdropping on people in public, but I'm just saying, sometimes you overhear things that you go, that's a really interesting sentence. I kind of want to write that down. So anyway, I hope that helps. Do you guys have any other questions about how that works? I know somebody had asked yesterday too if I could show one of my earliest journal pages. I could not find my I've been keeping journals on and off since I was 16, so I didn't want to dig through that mess of paper, but I did find kind of an earlier format that I used. And at the time, I had just discovered Boho Berry. So Kara from Boho Berry, and I was reading her blog. That was like way back when this whole journaling thing was like in its infancy. It was just brand new. But she had this format that was very similar to this that I really liked, and I ended up using this one. So this is kind of how things have evolved over time. They look quite a bit different. Now, I tried this habit tracker thing. I'm telling you guys, habit trackers are great if they work for you. They were terrible for me. I just couldn't keep up with them. So I do not use a habit tracker. I had brain dump pages. I had these colorful dailies that I used. But, and this is more or less when I had discovered the Bullet Journal brand and their system. And I really, really liked it. But to be honest, over time, things have evolved for me into different journaling styles, and I found traveler notebooks, and I found art journaling, and it sort of became something very, very different for me. But I still love the bullet journal system, and I still recommend it, and I still write about it and talk about it, and I think it plays very, very well with other types of planning and other types of productivity and other types of journaling. So it's a system that I do love it a lot, and I always recommend it to people. But I also try to respect their brand and the things that they do, and recognize that this does not resemble the brand that they've built. So I try not to say, yeah guys, this is Bullet Journal, because it's not the brand that they've built. And I try to be respectful of not trying to call, a soda a Coke, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm trying to be respectful, but anyway. I'm trying to be respectful of their brand, and also recognize the distinctions and the things that have evolved within the community, that have maybe evolved on their own, rather than usurp their brand and try to shove something onto their brand that they didn't necessarily build themselves, and they didn't necessarily promote themselves that way, because that's unfair to their brand as well. So, that's it on that. But did you guys have any other questions about the monthly here and how it works? Did you guys have any questions about the weeklies or the past pages? Because those were a lot of the questions that I was getting. Beth asked, will I put a full picture of the page on the website? Yes, I will, because I'm going to have a replay of this video. And with the replays, when you go to the blog and you go to the Planvember section, the videos are always embedded in the blog posts. And in the blog post, I take really bright close-up photos so you can see everything, and you can zoom in on details that you want to see. And then you can replay the video for any parts that you may have missed if you have questions. But that's basically that. Let me see if there are any other questions. Yeah, CJ says she thinks that you develop your own system from several, because we're all different. We all have different needs. It is this whole type of planning is very fluid, and everybody sort of swaps ideas, and that's what makes it what it is. That's what makes it's such a collaboration of our community, of people sharing and swapping ideas and coming up with different ways to do things and innovating. And hi, Shannon. Oh, Shannon says she's new, and she gets the pre-printed ones. So the journals I get from everywhere. So the one that I'm using, I don't know if I linked to this today for you guys, but the one I'm using today is Scribbles That Matter, and I got that one on Amazon. I'm going to drop the link right there for you. And then the other place that I get a lot of my journals is a little online stationery shop called JB Welly, and I'm a huge fan of theirs. And I got my Rodea Goal book there, and so the link that I just dropped has that'll take you to their website, and you can see the Rodea Goal book along with a bunch of others. They carry the Leuchtturms, they theycarry Wings, they carry lots of inks and fountain pens and lots of things like that. These amazing Blackwing pencils, which are like the best. These guys with like the crushed rectangle eraser, these are some of the best pencils I've ever gotten. I love them. Anyway, they have lots of things at JB Welly, so I get a lot of my notebooks there. A lot of them are available on Amazon, but JB Welly just started doing some free shipping deal too. So like, I think it's orders over 30 within the US are free. And then outside of Canada, I think they have a higher order minimum for free shipping. I mean, not outside of Canada, outside the US, like Canada and other places, they have a different minimum. But he's got really, the shop owner, I've reached out to him over the years, and we've kind of built a little partnership that I'm very proud of. And he's very generous and very kind, and I really like working with him. But his customer service is like just unbeatable. It's amazing. So I've always loved ordering from them, just because they're a small little online shop, and that makes me feel like I'm ordering from something special. But that's where I get a lot of my notebooks. I think this whole paper planning revolution that's happened has really opened up a lot of options for notebooks, and it seems like every week I get an email from 2 more startups that are like, we're making a notebook and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be the best notebook on the market. I'm like, okay guys, I wish you the best of luck. I really support all those startups, because I think everybody needs something different, but I just can't promote them all, you know. It's hard, but there are so many that are coming out right now that are meeting different needs, so that gives us a lot of choices, which is really awesome. So Zoe says, oh, Zoe, don't worry, it's not really ending. I'm just not going to be doing this every single day. She's saying that she's sad that the Planvember is going to be ending. It's not. The Planvember portion is going to be ending. In Planvember, I tried to do a video every day to help everybody get their 2018 journal set up. You can still watch all the replays on my website in the Planvember section. And I'm going to be doing these on a more regular basis. I've really enjoyed doing this live with you guys, because it helps me connect with you and know what you guys are needing. And it gives me ideas, because you share your ideas with me. And Amy says Planvember. We need Planvember. We'll see. We won't do Planvember, but we'll see what we can come up with. I am going to keep these going, because I think if we check in on a regular basis, once a week, twice a week, if I do these, then it gives me an opportunity to swap ideas with you guys. And then if you have questions, we can kind of come up with some ways to solve them. And this is, I think, what makes our community great, is that everybody shares ideas and cooperates and collaborates, and we don't like guard our journaling secrets, like, you know, stuff them under our mattresses. Like, we don't want to share. We show our pages. We share with people. You know, it's all about helping each other. So yeah, I think that I'm going to keep this going. Like I said, I don't have the schedule yet, but I am going to keep it going, and you guys can. The comments are still popping in on my computer too, so I'm seeing a bunch of them. But you guys are awesome. I had a really great month. Planvember was so much fun, and I'm going to let you guys go. Actually, tomorrow, though, is Friday, and so I'm going to have a video tomorrow. I was planning one, and even though it's the 1st of December, I'm going to do a video tomorrow. It just won't be a Planvember one, but we're still going to have a journaling video tomorrow, okay? So, and then I'll be able to kind of give it some thought on... how we're going to move forward for the following videos. So if you guys liked the video, make sure you share with your friends, and tell people about the website, tell people about the videos. That's it. If you have any questions, you can always email me, megan@pageflutter.com. You can drop me a comment. You can send me a message through my page. I check those messages regularly, and I try to answer as quickly as I can. And yeah, that's it. So... I think that's it. I think that's it, guys. If you have anything else, make sure I'm going to try to get the post up for you guys this afternoon with the replay, with all the photos. And I'm trying to kind of drop them into Instagram as much as I can, so that you can see them up close. And I know CJ says more Christmas. Maybe that's what we'll do tomorrow. We might do the journal advent calendar tomorrow. That would be a good idea, huh? So I'll try to get that prepared for tomorrow, because I think that would be a fun one. But what was the other thing I was going to tell you guys? Yeah, I'll try to get the replay posted this afternoon, but I have to get my newsletter out. So if you are a subscriber, look for your newsletter tomorrow, because it'll be coming to your inbox. And and if you're not a subscriber, you can sign up at the website and you'll get the newsletter. And I usually have freebies and this month was full of freebies in the vault, so I probably won't have a new freebie again in the newsletter, but there's going to be tons of stuff in there. And I will have more announcements about that Journaling Sister thing in the newsletter, so look for that tomorrow. And then I've got another post that I got to get scheduled, so I'll try to get this replay for you guys up by tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. I may have to do some catch up over the weekend, but that's it. All right, I'm going to get going. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. I will see you back here tomorrow for just a regular December journaling advent calendar fun type thing, and we'll show you how we're going to make that happen. That's it. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for coming. Bye.